Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1939 family musical, The Wizard of Oz.
I don't! You're wasting my time!
Hey, well, I hope that's not true. I really do. I'm just trying to review every movie in this book, the 1001 movies you must see before you die. I hope that's not a waste of time for you. It definitely has not been a waste of time for me. I am having a ball doing this. The Wizard of Oz is one of the most iconic films in movie history. It is incredibly nostalgic to me. I love all the songs in this movie. I sing them all the time. This movie is incredibly quotable. There are just quotes that I go around all day saying, like "the horse of a different color," "pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." It's just absolutely iconic. It has great acting, great use of Technicolor. It is a feel-good film. It just makes me happy watching it. It puts me in a very good mood. This is just, for me, one of my favorite films of all time. There's a couple funny scenes or situations that I really love in this movie. First is the Scarecrow, who's supposed to be the brainless one, who's not supposed to be able to think. Towards the end of the movie, he's the one who, for some reason, gets the gun that he's holding. And then the Wicked Witch of the West, who's supposed to be able to see everything in her crystal, in her little ball that she has, for some reason has to start ducking around corners and fences in order to see her enemies. I think both of those are absolutely hilarious. There's other very funny scenes in this film, but those two are the ones that pop into my head right away. This was nominated for Best Picture, Best Art Direction, and Best Effects, Special Effects at the Academy Awards. I don't know how it didn't win Best Effects, Special Effects. I think it definitely deserved it. It was also nominated for Best Music Original Score and Best Music Original Song for Over the Rainbow, which it 100% deserved. It stars Judy Garland as Dorothy, Frank Morgan as Professor Marvel / the Wizard / the guy in the window who says, "That's a horse of a different color," and also the guy in the Emerald City who gives them a chariot ride on the horse of a different color. Also stars Jack Haley as Tin Man, Ray Bolger as the Scarecrow, Burt Lear as the Cowardly Lion, and Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West, who is one of the greatest villains of all time. She is just phenomenal in this role. They really set the stage in the beginning of this film with her, where she's trying to take this dog that bit her and kill it, essentially, in any way that she can. There's this unsaid thing in movies where you don't kill the animal, and she is dead set on killing the animal in this film. And then later, so that really sets the tone for how villainous, how evil she is. And then later in the film, she talks about killing Toto again through having one of the monkeys drown it in a lake, which just really paints how villainous this person is. And I think that she just does an incredible job at her villainy. It's one of the most important films in cinema history. It has a breakthrough in color filmmaking, famous use of Technicolor. There's a point in this film when Dorothy's in Kansas, and then she opens the door and it transitions from the black and white / red hued scene to the colored version of Kansas, which is absolutely breathtaking. I can't imagine what that looked like in 1939, sitting in a movie theater or watching it from wherever and watching this transition happen. It's mesmerizing. Even today, I think it's fantastic that they were able to do that. And seeing it live, it must have been absolutely phenomenal. This became one of the most iconic visual moments in film history. Like I said, it has memorable music and songs, and the film songs became timeless classics. It has a defining performance from Judy Garland. This made her a major star. Her performance as Dorothy balanced innocence, emotion, and reliability in a way that resonated deeply with audiences in 1939. It has a groundbreaking fantasy storytelling. At the time when fantasy films were rare, The Wizard of Oz showed that elaborate, imaginative worlds can succeed on a large scale. Its mix of adventure, music, humor, and darker elements influenced countless films later on. It also has an enduring popularity through television. Unlike many films of its era, it gained new life through annual TV broadcasts starting in the 1950s. This turned it into a shared cultural experience across generations and helped secure its legendary status. When I was a kid, it seemed like this movie was on TV all the time, especially during the holidays. I think it plays at Thanksgiving and it just seems like it was on whenever I turned around. This movie was on, and I was watching it, and I absolutely loved it. Now, of course, when this film opens up, we are introduced to Dorothy and the three people, her family. She has her mother, her father, and then she has, I don't remember how they're related to her, but she has the person who plays the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion there as well, and they're kind of just helping around the house. Her mom is one of the most negative people I think I've seen in a while on a movie, and she never like breaks out of that negativity. So when the movie opens up, Toto has bit the character who is the Wicked Witch in her non-Wicked Witch form, in her human form, and Dorothy is basically very upset because she thinks that her dog, that Toto's gonna be put down, or that something's gonna happen to Toto. And her mom's all like, "You always come up with these wild ideas in your head. I don't know where you get them. You just have to calm down." And it's like, well, she probably thinks this because that's what she was told. The dog, that Toto bit this woman, and that this woman's going to try to have her dog put down. I don't understand the mom's point of view here. I think she's just supposed to be like a Southern mother who has these type of thoughts. I don't know. My mom was born in Oklahoma, and she probably would have said the same thing. So, but she's like, "You always have these thoughts in your head. They're never right. Just help us with whatever we're doing." So eventually, um, the woman does come around, and she says that she's going to put Toto down, and um, Dorothy is able to escape. She runs away, and when she runs away, she comes to this carnival kind of setup. It's like one of those snake oil salesman things with Mr. Marvel. He is supposed to be able to predict the future, and he predicts that Auntie M is at home, and she's near death. That Dorothy has to go back and make sure she's okay. And then Dorothy runs away, and he's like, "Wow, there's a storm coming. I really hope that girl's going to be okay." Well, you just told her her Auntie M is near death. So who knows? Maybe she will be. It's tough to say. So when she gets home, there's this big storm that's brewing, and the whole family gets into the storm cellar, but Dorothy's not able to make it. She kind of bumps her head and collapses on the bed. And then the tornado, you see this iconic swirling around of like the Wicked Witch through the window and all these things through the window as the tornado's swirling around. And then the house lands, and it lands on top of the Wicked Witch of the East. The Munchkins all sing her praises because she's killed the Wicked Witch. She meets Glinda, the Good Witch, and basically is told that in order to get home, she needs to follow the Yellow Brick Road and go talk to the Wizard of Oz, and the Wizard of Oz will help her get home. She's also given the red ruby slippers, which the witch, the Wicked Witch of the West, is just dying to get her hands on them. I don't know why she is. They have powers, but besides the fact that you can click them together and get back to Kansas, I'm not really sure what these powers are and why the Wicked Witch of the West wants it so badly. But apparently it has such immense power that she is just, that's all she wants. She has tunnel vision that she needs to get these slippers away from Dorothy. So Dorothy starts going along the Yellow Brick Road. She ends up running into the Scarecrow, who sings a little ditty about not having a brain and how he just wants to have a brain. Dorothy invites him to go with her, and off they go together, going to see the wizard. She then runs into the Tin Man, who has been frozen in time for a long time. He's been rusted, so they unrust him. He talks about how he doesn't have a heart and how he needs to go to the wizard as well. So off they go. He joins them. They go together as well, and then finally they meet the Cowardly Lion. It's probably the funniest of the three of them. He's just absolutely hilarious. Also very quotable. Like, there's many times where I'd say, put him up. Oh, get you from top to bottomest, or something like that. Very quotable. Absolutely hilarious. He needs courage. He acts like he has all this courage, and then when push comes to shove, he ends up folding, and he has no courage. So they all go off on their way to the Wizard of Oz. They, of course, run into a lot of roadblocks from the Wicked Witch of the West, who's trying to stop them. Once they get to the Emerald City to see the wizard, they are tasked with this task of getting the witch's broom, which means they're going to have to kill her before he will grant them any of the things they want. So they go and they dispatch the witch in a very iconic way where they end up throwing water on her and she melts. They bring the broom back to the Wizard of Oz, and he basically tells them to come back tomorrow. And then you get that famous scene where Toto unveils the curtain, and it's just the wizard doing all these things with mechanical stuff. And he says, "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." And then at the end of the movie, he reveals that while they were trying to save Dorothy at the witch's castle, because she ended up being kidnapped, and the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man had to save her, that they all showed examples of what they're asking for. The Cowardly Lion showed courage. The Scarecrow showed that he had a brain because he thought of ways to get around the guards. And then the Tin Man showed that he had a heart because of his love and affection for Dorothy. So they all had it anyway, but he gives them all gifts. He gives the Scarecrow a diploma. He gives the Tin Man a heart. And one of my favorite quotes from this entire movie is when the Tin Man gets a heart, and he says, "A heart will never be practical until they can make it unbreakable," which for me is one of the greatest movie quotes in the history of the world. And then the Cowardly Lion gets a medal that says courage. For some reason, the wizard, who also was born in Kansas, says that he has grown tired of being this great and powerful wizard, and he wants to go back to Kansas, and he's going to take his hot air balloon. He's going to take Dorothy with him, but then that ends up going awry, and he flies off without her. The good witch of the north comes down and says, all you have to do is click your heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home, and then you'll end up home. So Dorothy does that, and then she wakes up, and she realizes this was all just a dream from the bump that she got in her head. And the Mr. Marvel is there to check on her to make sure she got home okay. The 3 gentlemen who play the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man, all there too. So is her mom and her dad, her Auntie M and her uncle. Her Auntie M says something like, "It was all just a dream. You don't know what you're talking about, child." Very negative, like she was through it in the beginning of the movie. And that's basically it. I love this film. My favorite character in this entire film is the Scarecrow. I just love his wacky dancing that he does. I love the fact that he doesn't have a brain. I'm told constantly by my wife that I am the closest to the Scarecrow of anyone in this film because sometimes I act as if I don't have a brain. And I just think that throughout my life, his character has resonated with me the most. Besides the Scarecrow, also the Wicked Witch of the West the Wicked Witch of the West is my favorite character. I just think that she does such an amazing job. One of the best villains in movie history. She remains villainous throughout the whole thing. You're scared of her. You're frightened of her. When she's not on screen, you're wondering where she is, if she's looking at them, if she's following them, if she knows their whereabouts. I think that she is just written incredibly, and this is such an iconic role for her. The music in this film, to me, is what makes this film, though. You have all 3 of the songs that the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow sing. Those are all 3 iconic, but then you have Over the Rainbow. Later in the movie, the Cowardly Lion gets a second song where he talks about if he was... What was the second song? He gets a second song, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think it was If He Were King of the Forest is the second song. But the music is absolutely phenomenal. It's some of the greatest songs in the history of film. And I absolutely love it. It's just a fun movie. It's something that I can put on if I'm feeling down, and it just makes me feel better. It is a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love The Wizard of Oz. There's not a lot I can say about this film that other people haven't said. I don't want to focus on the 10 facts you might not know about The Wizard of Oz, or the stupid bird being hung in the background, and people thinking that the Munchkin's being hung in the background or anything like that. That's all talked ad nauseum. I don't need to mention any of that. I'm just going to say it's a 10 out of 10. I love this film. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called The Rules of the Game. Thank you. Have a great day.